New from the Telegraph, police covering up the surprise sex of a 12-year-old girl by the obvious. The local Warwickshire council leader has claimed that the Warwickshire police force told local officials not to reveal the suspect's backgrounds for fear of inflaming community tensions. Well, there you go. What do I keep telling you lot? Why do you think Dr. David Starkey's so switched on? It's because if you know history, you know what's coming. There is nothing new under the sun, and if you're into history and you like reading about it, you are setting yourself up for success in the future, because everything comes around again. And all this is a replaying of the events of the famous, globally famous grooming scandal, whereby we all found out what we knew to be true. Our leaders, our politicians, our MPs, our senior police officers help foreign men diddle your kids because they're in thrall to a toxic socialist ideology that teaches that no matter what happens, they are always the victim and you are always the oppressor. And this hasn't changed for a century. It was as true in Soviet Russia as it is today. As Solzhenitsyn famously said, I'm sick of repeating the quote for you, the criminal can have a knife because it's not the criminal's fault. He's a victim of society. But you can't have a knife to protect yourself. No, if you have one, you're a terrorist and you need to be dealt with. But they can do as the police, because they're the victims, don't you know? However, it's not all bad news. There is a silver lining to this cloud, ladies and gentlemen, and you know what that is? A 42-year-old Somali man abducted and surprise sexed a 12-year-old who was playing in her backyard in Minnesota. There you go. 12-year-olds getting diddled in England, 12-year-olds getting diddled in America by foreign men. So you know what the silver lining is? Misery loves company. Right then, we'll cover the British one first, and then just for a laugh, we'll point out that the same thing's happening all across the entire Western world because an evil bunch of globalist sociopaths want to destroy the nation state, collapse all the borders, and sacrifice your children on the altar of political correctness. Nice one. The global grooming scandal will repeat itself if police do not share the immigration status or ethnicity of dangerous suspects, the Tories have warned. Chris Philip, the Shadow Home Secretary, issued the warning after police were accused of covering up an alleged surprise sex incident against a 12-year-old girl by obviously Afghan asylum seekers, the same people that Robert Jenrick conspired with to bring into the country and then put a super injunction against the reporters so they could hide it from us. It's just repeating itself. It's just history repeating itself as usual. Ahmad, I can't read that name out. I can't read that. And plus, Silicon Valley don't like it when you read out names like that. So we'll just blame this on, we'll call him Alan and the other guy Moore. It was Alan and Moore, pleasant 23-year-old chaps, guests in the UK, charged with surprise sex, kidnapping and strangulation. Marvellous fellows, I'm sure you'll agree. Robert Jenrick agrees, because he helped them in. He stamped the passports for them. Warwickshire Police reportedly advised local councillors and officials not to reveal the asylum seeker background of the two suspects for fear of inflaming community tensions. So as usual, they think the real problem is you talking about it. Like all tyrannical regimes, they want to ban, silence and smear you to make this problem go away. They don't want to deal with the root cause of the problem, which is importing the foreign men who do this to your children. The real problem is dealing with you. And I've made this point before about Mr. Robinson, all right? He's not some sort of legendary orator. He's not a Churchill-esque, charming, amazingly inspiring, charismatic leader who, through the sheer force of nature and the power of his words, sways thousands and thousands of unbelievers to his cause. No, he's not. He's just a regular stiff. He's less articulate than me. And it's very rare a man from the northeast gets to talk down to anyone when it comes to articulation of the English language. No, there's nothing special about him. The problem is the diddling. It's the men doing it. It's not us talking about it. It's not the journalists reporting on it. It's not the newspapers and the radio networks not playing the game. The problem is the men doing the diddling. And as long as the lunatics running the world refuse to acknowledge this simple fact, this type of stuff will go on and on and on. And I'm sick of talking about it. I could do a different monstrous story every single day, 365 days a year. This is happening on a daily basis, but they still think the real problem is you and I discussing the matter. Amazing. Amazing. George Finch, the Reform UK leader of the County Council, said in a letter to the Force's Chief Constable, the continued cover-up of the true nature of Alan's immigration status risks public disorder breaking out on the streets of Warwickshire. Yes. It's not me talking that causes the problem. It's Alan diddling that causes the bloody problem. And the same details being covered up concerning Mighty Mo. Mighty Mo Kabir. He always has his Weetabix before he goes out fingering. Of course he does. I am disgusted that 1 year on from the social unrest we saw in parts of the UK in 2024, the Home Office and police have clearly not learned any lessons from the handling of similar incidents last year. I strongly believe the only risk to public order from this case in Warwickshire comes from the cover-up itself. Yes, George, well done. He's a third of the age of the Prime Minister, but he's got 200 times the brain cells. Marvellous. And obviously Warwickshire Police haven't denied it because the truth shall set you free, ladies and gentlemen. Before I wrap up, let's discuss the one in America because it's marvellous to see that they are spreading the love on both sides of the Atlantic. Man sentenced after grabbing child from backyard, giving her the good news and then calling a phone. So he's not too bright, is he? And I've got a picture of him, which shall be of no surprise to you because obviously he's a Marley. So obviously he looks like that. Yeah, light bulb head, googly eyes and jug lugs. They all look alike. They must breed, not in the normal human fashion, just wet gremlins. There was one of them founded the nation and then the rest of the country was populated by just sprinkling water on his back and off they sprung. Millions and millions of them because every single one of them looks identical, don't they? It's mad. It's mental. I can't tell him from the pirate captain off Captain Phillips from the last 2 or 3 councillors over here. The attack of the clones. That's what's going on here. Sentenced to prison after kidnapping 12-year-old girls in the back garden as well, where you think they're safe. She was playing in the backyard of the home on June 5th when a stranger pulled up in the front of the house. Oh my God. Put his hand over her mouth, picked her up and threw him in the back of the car, which caused her to feel dizzy and disorientated. Oh yeah, and then the obvious. I don't want to read any more of that. So anyway, we know what went on. And we know what's going on in the UK. If you're interested in sending an angry letter, this is Alex Franklin Smith and Claire Armers are the senior Warwickshire police who covered up the case of the 12-year-old girl. This is the 12-year-old in England, not the 12-year-old in Minnesota. I mean, there's probably a 12-year-old getting it in every state and every county in the UK off an imported man at this point. But just these two we're talking about. Alex Franklin Smith and Claire Armers helped make it happen. They helped make it happen. They are directly involved. They are diddler enablers. That's what they are. As far as I'm concerned, this fella here, Alex, he may as well have cut the girl's clothes off with a set of garden shears. And this bird here, what's she called? Claire Armers. Claire Armers might as well have guided him in. Claire Armers is a part-time fluffer for Afghan criminal migrants. That's what she is. She should get a sign made for her desk. Police constable and also part-time fluffer. Because that's what these people are doing. These people are helping foreign men donkey one into your wives and kids. That's what's happening here. So what have we learned today? What have we learned? We've learned that these people are helping these people brutalise your wives and daughters, sacrificing them on the altar of political correctness because they are believers in an ideology that is pure evil and teaches them that if you're on the victim pyramid or you've got a bit of a tan or you have a different religion to the Archbishop of Canterbury, you are always the victim. And people like me, it's my fault. I'm the bad guy. Yeah, it's all my fault. Blame me for the 12-year-olds getting banged more than Stevie Wonder's big toe because patriarchy or something. All right, that's what we've learned. It's all my fault. It's definitely not Alan and Mo's fault, and it's definitely not these lying, slimy, horrible, devious sack of shit coppers' fault. Yeah, easy. Anyway, that's that. As usual, thanks for tuning in. If you disagree, please let me know in the comments. I love it. If you also want to work as a professional fluffer for an Afghan man, please leave a comment in vociferous disagreement in the comments below so I can read it out and we can all split our sides laughing. All right? That's all I've got for today. It is behind a paywall on the Telegraph. I have to pay for a subscription, so I don't know if you'll be able to read it. But yeah, unbelievable. It's still happening. It's going to keep happening until, as I keep telling you, until the plot of the novel Starship Troopers comes true, and this becomes so commonplace that everybody's afraid to leave the house. And maybe then, by about 2030, there'll be enough people actually angry enough to do something about it. But until then, batten down the hatches, buckle up, and don't forget, furnish your wives and kids with the chastity belt and eat the key, because you're not gonna need to take them off for a while. Trust me. That's me for the day, ladies and gents. Thanks for watching. Please like it and share it if you can be bothered. I'll see you all tomorrow, as usual, to discuss more horrifying acts of chaos being perpetuated against your families while politicians and senior police officers laugh. All right? Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow, no doubt. See you then. Toodle pip. Cheers.